Okay, so welcome back to my channel. I'm Venerable Dharma Priya, and I have been uploading videos to my channel, especially for the O-level students in Sri Lanka, especially to help them with some kind of uh, knowledge about writing the Buddhism paper in English medium. So I have been uploading videos time to time with some revisions to the previous O-level Buddhism papers in English medium. And for the last few months, actually, I was unable to do that as I was completely occupied with some academic activities. But this time, as many of you have asked me, as many of you have requested me to do some revisions of the last Buddhism papers from 2022, 23, 24, and so on. So, as a result, uh, I have decided to do uh, some revisions of the previous papers of Buddhism that I was not able to do. So, I hope these are going to be really useful to many of the students who are taking their O-level exam and also taking Buddhism as a subject, and most importantly, who are taking the exam in English medium. Sometimes it's not easy to, uh, you know, uh, translate the technical terms because we learn Buddhism in Sinhala, but when it's a matter of writing Buddhism in English, we usually fall into troubles, but don't worry at all. You just have to study a few technical terms, but at the same time, you can also use the Pali technical terms as well. You can use the English letters, but the Pali terms. So uh, you will get the full marks as the uh, education department has already informed. But write them in proper kind of proper way without making any mistakes in spellings. So anyway, many people say that Buddhism is the hardest paper that a student has to write in English medium, but I don't find it as a big deal as many people say, right? It's really simple if the correct way of writing is understood. So let's have a look at this one. This is the paper from 2024, which is the Buddhism English medium paper. And as you all know that the paper is coming in two parts, Buddhism 1 and Buddhism 2, right? Sorry. And the part 1 basically uh, consists of MCQs, right? There are 40 MCQs, and you have to answer all these MCQ questions, because if you fully answer them, you can easily get a kind of pass, 40 marks easily. So do not forget to answer all the questions, right? And before answering, first read the instructions here. So we will, at our first step, we will just talk about the Buddhism 1, Buddhism Part 1, which is the MCQ. And then I will do the Buddhism Part 2 in a separate video. First of all, let's have a look at the Buddhism 1 from 2024. Sorry. And please do not forget to read the instructions here, right? You must read the instructions. So I'll answer all the questions. In each of the question, 1 to 40, you have four alternatives, 1 to 3, 4. So you have to pick or you have to choose the correct answer or the most appropriate one. And you will also be given an answer sheet where you have to mark the correct answer, corresponding to the correct choice, correct answer. You have to put a cross, not a right mark, but a cross. So don't forget that. Okay, let's have a look at the number one, right? Sometimes, they give you questions in a tricky way to make you confused. But if you just observe it carefully, you will find out that this is not a big deal, right? But they sometimes make you confused, right? Simple question, and the answer is also very simple. You all know the answers, but in order to make you confused and stressed, they just jumble it, right? They just turn it upside, I would say, right? But you don't need to worry. Just read the question very carefully, right? Read the questions very, very carefully. So let's have a look at the number one, the fact that does not include, right? So there is one fact which is not included here, right? Um, I mean, out of four, three answers are correct according to this kind of uh, story, right? But one is not the correct answer. So you have to choose, or you have to find the one which is not included, which is not correct according to the main theme, right? So here the main theme is the objectives of the construction of the three palaces by King Suddhodana. As you all know, Rameswaram three palaces had been constructed by the king, father Suddhodana, for his son to dwell uh, comfortably in three different seasons, Hemanta, Gimbhana, and Vasana. So his main objective was that to give or to provide his son the fullest, the utmost comfort, so that the son would not feel heartbroken, right? He would not abandon the palace, right? Because the father wanted his son to be a universal monarch in future. The father did not want his son to be a Buddha at all, right? So all the time, the father managed to provide all the comfort and luxuries that the son needed, right? So let's have a look. Number one, do not obstructing to the expectation of becoming universal monarch. No. So that's not the correct answer. Right? He constructed the palaces uh, for his son, uh, mainly uh, for this, not to obstruct the expectation, right? Not to hinder the wish of becoming the universal monarch. And number two, avoidance of the obstacles to household life. So that was also one objective, right? And number three, showing the suitable direct path to sensual life. Yes, his father wanted his son to be immersed to the household life with a lot of comfortable kind of things in life to enjoy the comfort and luxuries. So that was also one of the objectives, number three. And number four, showing that the world outside the palace is the reality. No. So this is the correct answer. Simply his father had no any objectives, no any purpose of showing his son the outside world, outside the palace. Because his father or the Suddhodana king, Suddhodana knew that if the son just went out of the palace and enjoy the kind of nature of this world, then of course the son would feel heartbroken and he would abandon, he would renounce the palace and become an ascetic. So his father did not want this to happen, right? So the fourth one is the correct one. It was not included as an objective of King Suddhodana in constructing the three palaces, Rameswaram and Subha. And number two, let's have a look. The MCQ number two. For success in life, one has to overcome the life challenges and act carefully without making instant decisions. In this regard, the example provided by the character of Siddhartha Bodhisattva is reflected in. So I have highlighted the answers, but let's have a look at the question. Um, we have to overcome challenges, of course, and before that, we have to do a background check, right? We should not jump into quick decisions. We have to be very careful. We have to observe the situation. Then uh, we must take the decisions with a prior kind of observation, right? We should not just uh, jump into conclusions or decisions, make decisions all at once. First, we have to observe the things carefully, right? So let's have a look at the alternatives. King Kusala Gavesi is the period when he was searching for the truth. So that is not related to this question. And Singhavalokana, the third alternative, says that you observe the world like a lion. That's also not relevant to this. Renunciation, of course, he renounced the palace, right? Maybe without a proper, but of course, he had the purpose of becoming an ascetic, becoming a homeless person, becoming to become a tapasa, right? But that was not much related to this question. So, in my opinion, number two is the most appropriate answer. Pancha Mahavilokana, Pas Mahabalum, right? So before Prince Siddhartha uh, was, born into this world, he observed the proper situations, Kalaya, the proper time, sorry, Deepaya, the location where to be born, Desha, the country, the state, and the proper time and proper mother, right? So he did a complete checkup, a background check, right? Before uh, he was about to be born in this human world from the Tusita heaven, he did a prior investigation, examination. He examined everything properly, and then he took the decision to be born as Siddhartha in the human world, right? So number two is the correct answer. Number three, a difficult period in the Buddhist 45 years of life in which he did not receive basic requisites. Right? Yeah, it's very famous. So, in one of his Vasana period, he did not receive any food because the person who invited him had forgotten that he had invited the Buddha to stay in his village during that rainy season. You know, when it rains during the rainy season, when it rains in India, it rains heavily, it rains cats and dogs. Sometimes all the harvest, all the cultivation just, you know, uh, kind of collapsed by the heavy rain, you know. So during this season, the Veranja, especially the answer is highlighted here. I have highlighted the answer. During the Veranja Vasana retreat, the Buddha did not receive proper and delicious foods from the Brahmin Veranja, who invited the Buddha to stay in his village during that period, because the Veranja Brahmana was completely stressed, under depression, heartbroken, disappointed because the heavy rainfall, destroyed all his farming and cultivation. So he had completely lost his mind, right? So the correct answer is Viranja. And let's have a look the other alternatives. Parilaya forest. No, that's not the answer. Parilaya forest was the forest where the Buddha was living during a clash between two group of monks in the Kosambi city of Ghoshitarama temple. Two monks, two group of monks, they had a kind of clash in between. Buddha tried to console them, but they didn't listen to the Buddha. And ultimately, Buddha kind of abandoned this place and uh, heading into the forest called Parileya, where Buddha was, uh, attended by an elephant called Parileya, Parileya Ata. Uruvela is a different location. Bheshakala rock is also one of the little famous place where Buddha was living. But every time Buddha used to receive alms. But in Veraja, Buddha had spent a really pathetic period where Anandahamdru prepared some kind of yava. Yava is a specific type of grain which is given to horse. It's kind of a food of horses. So Anandahamdru prepared this and he uh, offered to the Buddha. Buddha survived uh, on this Yava food, right? It was so kind of hard, difficult period for the Buddha, but Buddha still decided to live there without leaving the place. So that's Viranja. Number four, the Buddha pointed out that Pratipatti Puja, spiritual practice, is greater than the Amisha Puja, material offering, right? So it's greater than Amisha, right? Pratipatti is greater than Amisha. Pratipatti means following the path, practicing the path, and Amisha means offering of materials. It was not denied at all. Buddha did not deny Amisha Puja. You have to offer food to others. You have to offer food to monks. Then only monks are going to survive. It's the duty of a lay person to offer foods and other requirements to monks. And monks in return are going to guide people, helping them with kind of uh, uh, with the teachings of the Buddha in return, right? So anyway, Amisha Puja was not denied at all. Amisha Puja was respected and appreciated by the Buddha. But sometimes Buddha says Pratipatti Puja is greater than Amisha. So what does it mean? What does this idea mean? Let's have a look. The Amisha Puja is same as the Pratipatti Puja. No, not same. They are not similar, right? Almsgiving is inappropriate. No, not at all. That's completely not true, right? The number four, only the Pratipatti Puja has been approved. It's also wrong. Both have been approved by the Buddha. So the number three, living righteously is greater. Yes, this is the correct answer. Living a proper, disciplined, right life is greater than material offering. It doesn't say that you should completely deny Amisha. No, it doesn't mean like that, right? So living righteously is greater, right? This uh, idea says that. Number five, taking refuge in the triple gem is different from seeking the help of a god, Brahma, and creator because its basis is what? In theistic religions or religions that are centralized on a belief of a god, you know, they have a belief, they have a trust in their god, and this belief is mixed with fear. Like, if you don't trust your god, you will be punished, like that. But when it comes to Buddhism, we don't have fear towards the Buddha. Instead, we have a faith and trust, confidence in the triple gem, and it's called Shraddha. Faith is not the appropriate term, it's not the most appropriate kind of uh, term or translation for Shraddha. Shraddha is some kind of confidence, confidential, yeah, it's kind of confidence uh, or faith. Superficially, we can use the term faith, but faith is not the exact translation of Saddha, to be honest. Is what, yeah, I mean, uh, we can say in theistic religions. Theistic means the religions who believe in a supernatural God. So their main foundation is bhakti or devotion to the God, right? So devotion often mixed with fear. You have a fear about the God because if you don't obey to the words of the God, if you don't obey to Him, you will be punished like that. And Sila is, of course, a part of the Buddhist ethical criteria. And Vishwasa is trust. Vishwasa Paramanyati. The person whom you trust is the best relative. But according to this context, Shraddha is the most appropriate answer. Shraddha is directly connected with the triple gems, right? If you have a Shraddha in the triple gems, then that means um, you can proceed forward, you can move forward. Number six, please have a look. Uh, I will make it a bit quicker, right? For the time being, I will uh, go fast. As I didn't attend to any sick monk when I was healthy, no one attended to me when I was sick, right? So when you hear this, you can quickly, remind of some monk. So this is definitely talking about a particular monk who was suffering with some kind of diseases, right? So since I didn't attend to any monks, since I didn't help any sick monk when I was healthy, now as a karmic results, now there is nobody to help me, right? So this statement was made by a particular monk. So let's have a look from number four, who was suffering from a severe, sorry, abdominal pain in the abdomen. It was basically Mugalang Hamdru Sariyut, right? So this is not the correct answer. Who was sick in the Pipali cave? So in the Pipali cave, Girimananda Hamdru was utterly sick. And who was blind? The blind monk was Chakkupal, right? Remember the name Chakku connected with eye. Chakkupala, the Hamdru who was blind when he uh, attained the arahanthood, right? So this, idea clearly uh, relates to this number one, whose whole body was full of blisters, right? So you know the name of the monk who is called Tissa Thero or Putigatta Tissa, right? Remember that. Number seven, the one who engages in social mission from one's birth to his death, and thereafter with an aspiring intention, right? So there is one person who dedicate his life for somebody from the birth to death. Upate patang marne dakwa මිනිස් අන් එකන මිනිසෙක්ගේ උපතේසිට මරණය දක්වා කැපවෙන කෙනෙක්. Even after that. So simply a Buddhist monk, right? Buddhist monk from the, Buddhist monk dedicate his life for somebody from his death, from his birth to death. Now, for example, when somebody is, even before, you know, uh, birth. Now, for example, if the mother is pregnant, we have Buddhist monks uh, in the temple and we make them chant the Angulimala Pirita, right? Even before the birth of a person, Hamudru is coming and he preaches the Angulimala Pirita. And to death also, during the funeral, Pansugulit also Hamudru is coming. I mean, even after that, Danamana, Haddavasitana, and so on. So, in a person's life, from the birth to death, and even after that, in every special occasions of a uh, human life, monk is there. The monk is there. Hamdru is there to assist us, to give us a moral support, right, all the time. So Pacheka Buddha is a different, completely different topic, and universal monarch who dedicates his life for the well-being of the world. A homeless celibate, anagarika, is a different topic. So the correct answer here is a Buddhist monk, because a Buddhist monk dedicates his life from for others from one's death, from birth to death. පොතේ පටන් මරණය දක්වා මිනිහාගේ හැම වැඩකටම හාමුදුරුවෝ is there, right? And number 8, what is the name of the father of Princess Bandakachana who married Prince Siddhartha? So what's the name? Number 3, Shakya King Amitodhana? No, Amitodhana was a brother of Shuddhodana. He's a sibling. And Mahanama Shakya is a different person. And Suprabuddha is the correct one. Vidudaba is a different king who completely wiped out the Buddha's relatives, right? Vidudaha කියන්නේ බුදුහාමුදුරන්ගේ නෑදෑයෝ විනාශ කරපු කෙනෙක්, right? Vidudaha is also a Shakya king, right? But he was a bit arrogant guy, right? He had a grudge with Shakyans, right? And he wiped them out. So the correct answer is 2. Shakya king with Suprabuddha was the father of Bandakachana. So remember that Bandakachana is a term or is another name or synonym used for Yashodhara, right? Remember that. Number 9, uh, the 2 carpenters who live because of me, who depend on rice I give, they depend on me, I afford them, right? Who travel by the vehicle I provide. So we travel in the same vehicle. They did not respect me, but they respected you. Oh, who made this statement to the Buddha? Not King Shuddhodana, not King Bimbisara, not King Ajashattu, but the King Kosala. Right? King Kosala was a really friendly guy to the Buddha. They were so like best friends, right? So King Kosala made this statement at the beginning stage of uh, his meeting with Buddha, right? Okay. And number 10, a practitioner of the virtues of the perfections, paramita, remember that. Paramita in Pali or in Sinhala, in English, it is translated as perfections, right? So the perfections should be fulfilled by the Bodhisattva under five conditions. And the one fact that does not belong to them is accomplishment of virtue, such as, so there are five conditions, right? How does a Bodhisattva fulfills the paramita, right? And here one is given which is not included in those five. So one is not correct. Other three are correct, but one is incorrect. Let's have a look. Tanha, charity without greed. No, that's no problem. And charity without concept is their mana. It's also correct. Michaditti, charity without wrong view. Yeah, charity without any wrong view. And number four, upaya kaushalya jnana, knowledge without skillful means. That is not the correct answer. Right? That's not included. So you can have a look. I will show you later, right? Knowledge without skillful means. So when it's a matter of knowledge, all the time there is skillful means, right? So this is the correct answer, right? And 11, which perfection fulfilled by Bodhisattva is revealed in the Sivijataka, right? So Sivijataka basically talks about the Dana Paramita, right? So Metta Paramita, Maitriya, I don't remember. Virya Paramita, uh, I have made a short note. I can provide if you need, right? You just comment your email here under this video, then I will share it to you. I will share it. So basically, Sivijatake, represents the uh, Dana Paramita or perfection of Dana of the Bodhisattva. And number 12, it is mentioned in Dhamma, three moods of the realization of truth as Samma Sambuddha, fully enlightened one, Pacceka Buddha, solitary Buddha, and Arahanta, spiritually perfected one. Right? So these are the three moods of realization according to Theravada Buddhism. What do we call them in our kind of popular Buddhism? What do we call them? Right? There's a specific term, Buddhu Pase Buddhu Maharahat. There is a single term we use for these three. Let's have a look. One, Trishiksha. No, that's not the correct answer. Trisiksha means threefold trainings. Sila, Samadhi, Prajna. Trisiksha or Tisikha or threefold trainings. Tilakkana, three characteristics of existence. What are the Trilakshanas? Trilakshanas are Anitya, Dukkha, and Atma. Impermanency, unsatisfactoriness, egolessness, no soul, no permanent self, Anatta. And Trividaratna, triple gem, so Buddha Dhamma Sangha. No. And finally, Tuntara Bodhiya. Right? Tuntara Bodhiya, Ektara Bodhiya කට පැමිණ නිවන් අවබෝධ කරගන්නවා කියන්නේ. Three moods of enlightenment. Buddhu, Pase Buddhu Maharaj. Buddha, or Samma Sambuddha, Pacceka Buddha, and Arahanta Buddha. Right. Number 13. What is the option that does not include the facts among the factors for prosperity as found in the verse? Danancha dhammacharyacha jnatakanancha sangaho anavajjani kammani etang mangala muttamang. This verse is coming in the Mahamangala Sutta, right? So in order to answer this, you must know the verse. Like Karaniya Mitta Sutta, most of you know the Karaniya Mitta Sutta, but not many of you know the meaning of it. And even for the Mangala Sutra, many of you know Mangala Sutta, but many of you do not know the meaning of it, right? But this one you need proper kind of understanding of the Mangala Sutta. So Danancha Dhammacharyacha Jatakananja Sango Anavajjani Kambani Etang Mangalamuta. Now let's have a look at the idea here. What is the option that does not include sorry, the facts among the factors for prosperity as found in the verse? Okay, so Danancha Dhammacharya, Dana means alms giving, generosity, Dhammacharya, right living, and Nyatakananja Sangaho, caring for one's relatives. Fine. Then again, uh, generosity, dana, dhammacharya, meditation. No, no. Generosity, right living, right livelihood, anavajjani, yes. Caring for one's relatives, right livelihood, right. So the correct answer is two, because there is no meditation mentioned in this verse. Danancha dhammacharyacha, jnatakanancha sangho, jnatinta sangraha kirima. Anavajjani Kammani, right living or right livelihood. Etang Mangalamuttamang. This is an auspicious kind of thing. So the number two is the correct because there is no meditation. Bhavana is not given there. Anywhere in the sutta you will not find bhavana. Number 14, it is mentioned in Dhamma acting lazily, right, by postponing day-to-day activities by a person is considered a hindrance. This hindrance is known as what? Laziness, lethargic nature, right? Laziness, matabad and wahinava, ayo, like that, right? So what do you call this in hindrance? Panchanivara, right? It's a hindrance. There are five hindrances. So let's have a look. Vichikicha is skeptical doubt about different things in Buddhism. Uddachikukucha, restlessness and worrying, right? Worrying about the past incidents, right? Uddachikukucha, restlessness of our mind. Thinamidda, sloth and torpor is called the spiritual laziness, right? Laziness, feeling so bored all the time. Then Wahino is raining now. It's so hot outside. It's so cold outside. Likewise, the laziness that comes when you feel so bored, right? And for Vyapa, the ill will simply means the idea or the desire to hurt somebody, to harm somebody. So simply the correct answer here is that number three, Thinamidda is the correct answer, sloth and torpor, which means spiritual laziness, spiritual laziness, let's say. Number 15, according to Buddhist teaching, the highest result that can be gained from the development of Chitta Bhavana. Remember that Chitta Bhavana is Samatha Bhavana, right? Not Vipassana. Vipassana is called insight meditation, Vidarshana, Vipassana, right? But here Chitta Bhavana is simply means Samatha Bhavana, meditation of tranquility. So according to the results of Samatha Bhavana, it is said that the maximum, the highest you can achieve is Panchabhijna and Ashtashamapatti, five attainments and eight attainments and five supernatural jhana. So let's have a look. The seven attainments with the four absorptions wrong. The attainments with the four absorptions wrong. The seven attainments with the five supernormal knowledge wrong. The eight attainments with the five supernormal knowledges. Yes. Panchabhijna and Ashtasamapatti. This is the correct answer. Panchabhijna means five supernormal knowledges. And Ashtasamapatti is simply the eight attainments, right? Number 16, the wisdom that can see the future existence of the worldling subjected to cycle of birth and death is known as. So there is a knowledge that Buddha can develop where he can see how beings are evolving in this samsara, uh, life after death and death after life. So he can see this subsequent or the sequence of death and rebirth, right? How these things happening in a life of a being, right? So uh, this knowledge is called what? Pubbe Nivasanusati is actually the knowledge of observing the previous birth. Peravisu Sthanagana Danaganime Shakti, Peravisu Anbhav. That's called Pubbe Nivasanusati. It means kind of uh, magical power, right? You can dive on earth, you can you float in the water, you can fly in the space. Irdi. Parachitta Vijarana means kind of psychic power that you can read others' mind, telepathy, right? You can read others' mind. So simply, the fourth one is the correct answer. Chutu Upapata. Chuti Upa yani Chuti Utpatti. Uh, leaving this world and again being born somewhere, death and rebirth. So this one um, clearly seen by a Buddha. It's a knowledge uh, very unique to a Buddha. Chutupapata jnana is the correct answer. Then number 17, according to the Chulakama Vibhanga Sutta, the discourse that deals with karma, which describes how individual differences arise in accordance with karma. One who acts with hatred will be born in the next life. In Chulakama Vibhanga Sutta, there are number of karma, there's a set of karmas, and at the same time, if you have, performed that karma, there is also going to be kind of parallel uh, consequences, results, right? So here, uh, if somebody acts with hatred until the moment of his or her death, if someone practices hatred and acts with hatred, according to this Chulakamba Vibhanga Sutta, it is said that if somebody acts with hatred, he will be born as a kind of what? Maybe deformities, right? I hope this is the correct answer. Without fame is not fame, is apkirti, kirti and prasangsana. Uh, it happens if you don't kind of respect the elders, right? If somebody is somebody born with short lifespan, when somebody commits a lot of killing as a patient or full of diseases, somebody born with full of kind of diseases and illnesses as a patient when you physically hurt others. So that's a karma vipaka. If you physically hurt others, you will be born as a patient full of illnesses. So simply, the correct answer is deformities with ugly appearance and so on. Number 18, for a person who, by overcoming all the sufferings, attain arahantship, not experiencing the results of karma, and becoming non-resultant karma is known in Dhamma as what? Person who overcome all the sufferings, who becomes an arahant, and then not experiencing the results of karma, right? He's not going to result any karma vipaka. And that karma is called kind of extinct karma, defunct, invalid. What is that karma? That karma is called ahosi karma, right? That's called the ahosi. It's going to be invalid, right? Ahosi. So Garuka karma are basically the great kind of heinous karma, right? Katattha karma is basically the minor karmas that somebody performs in life. Aj Achinna karma is a kind of habitual karma, right? Suppose a person who catches fish, it's a habit. And somebody who goes to temple once a week is habitually he's doing that, right? It's a habit. That habit is called achina karma. So here the correct answer is ahosi karma. Once the person becomes an arahant, the other rest of the karma is going to be invalid, ahosi. But some karmas are not going to be invalid. Now, for example, Angulimala Mahamudru had to face the karma vipaka of killing his mother in one of his previous birth, right? So some karmas are not going to be ahosi, like anantari papa karmas. Number 19, as indicated in the Singalovada Sutta, the fact that is not included among the duties to be performed by the teacher towards the student, right? So there are duties, reciprocal duties from to be performed between several units of the society, like husband and wife, parents and children, and employer and employee, pupil and students. Now here, uh, there are duties need to be fulfilled uh, by the teacher to the students, right? Suppose teaching well, guiding them properly, introducing to their friends, and so on. And here, one is not correct. Let's have a look. Number one, discipline well. Of course, teachers have to discipline their students well. Teaching well, of course, they have to teach well. For introduction to friends, that's a duty, right? And number two, non-humiliation is not given there as a duty of a teacher towards their students. Non-humiliation. It's not coming, it's not good, but it is not coming as a duty. It's not a duty included in this category. Non-humiliation is a duty of a husband towards his wife. He should not humiliate his wife. Okay, let's move on to number 20. As stated in the Bhaddali Sutta, the fact that is not included among the results of knowing the quantity of consuming food. In Bhaddali Sutta, uh, there's a nice ethical guideline, especially when we are consuming food. Why we have to take food, right? Because there are 5 points given, the main objectives of consuming food. So, one, getting good physical strength, mm, less disease, okay, getting good mental power and comfortable existence. So, the correct answer is this, getting good mental power. Getting good mental power is the correct answer. So, of course, you can have mental power by consuming food, but to get a good mental power, what you have to do basically, you have to do meditation, right? So it's not coming as a results of consuming food, right? So getting good mental power, basically you need meditation for that. 21, the fact that is not included among the benefits that can be gained from tranquility meditation for student life is what? Right. So out of four, remember that three is correct, one is not correct. Right. Three are correct and one is not correct. So what is not the correct one, right? Uh, so it's basically talking about samatha bhavana, right? By doing samatha, you can achieve some kind of benefits. And here, improvement of memory power, of course, ability to retain in one-pointedness, of course, improvement in the power of immediate understanding, definitely. It can help you to understand something immediately. Number four, ability to live in coexistence. That is not relevant. Yeah. It's about peace. Right? Number 22, the first two lines of the Dhammapada verse, which indicate that one should not repent by thinking about what he missed in his youth, like an old heron who repented by the dried up pond. So what was the verse? What's the Dhammapada Gatha that is connected or that is giving this meaning? Right? වයසට ගිය කොකෙක් වගේ පසුතැවෙන්න වෙනවා. Which one is the correct you guess? උත්ථානවතෝ සතිමතෝ, it's about the untiring effort, right? You have to work hard. You have to be mindful, concentrated. Suchikamma means you have to involve in proper way of actions and so on. And number four, let's have a look at number four. Yoche vasa satang jive. If somebody lives 100 years being evil without having a proper concentrated mind, right? That's also not the meaning. Natangkamma katang sadhu yang katva anutappati. You should not do anything that brings you some lot of regrets, right? Regression and that makes you suffer mentally. So that's also not the correct word. So acharitva brahmacharyang aladhayo banedhanang. If someone does not live a life of a monk, nor does he uh, have a proper income in his young age, that is the correct gatha. Acharitva brahmacharyang aladhayo banedhanang jinna konjava chayante kinamachira palale. If you are young, you have to either live a life of a monk and serve the world, or you have to work hard and earn wealth. So if you have not done any of these two, someday you have to uh, regret. Ayo, mata peluang kali beri unane hila, right? So that's the meaning. So the correct answer is Acharita Brahmacharya. Okay, let's have a look at 23. Placing a greedy, wasteful woman or man in the household leadership as a cause of decline is preached in. So the cause of decline means parabhava. Parabhaveta hetu. So simply the answer is the Parabhava Sutta, right? Sometimes the answer is given in this question, right? You have to be very careful, right? Don't be panic, don't get rushed, don't get nervous, right? Look at the question very carefully. Vasala Sutta talking about the Vasala Karana Dharma. Mangala Sutta is talking about the Mangala Karunu. Singalavada Sutta is talking about the duties and responsibilities. And number 24, the Buddhist principle of governance, which emphasizes that it is the responsibility of the ruler to ensure the welfare of women. This is important, welfare of women, by providing a special protection to women who occupy a very important place in society. So you can remember there's one specific evidence where women are given priority in the city, right? And this is coming in a set of rules of governing. So you can remember that Sapta Aparihaniya Dharma, right? Seven factors of non-declining, uh, seven non degenerating factors, right? Seven degrading factors. I don't remember the exact term for this, but seven non-declining factors, right? Sapta parihani dharmeti, uh, holding assembly together, taking decisions together, do not impose any new decisions that has not been kind of proposed, right? Respecting the women in the country, respecting the Sramana in the country, and developing the religious kind of sacred places, right? So that this is one of the major rules coming under the Saptaprihaniya Dharma, respecting the women and provide protection to them. And then 25, according to the four types of the results of karma, karma vipaka, the karma which gives results in any existence, bhava, before attaining nirvana, after the second birth, right? After the second birth, until nibbana, there are set of karmas that brings you good or bad results, right? What are those, right? Now, as I said, Acharya karma simply says the habitual karma. Hmm. Upattambhaka karma is there are a set of karma that supports you. They don't let you fall down. They are like pastambhakas, stamba, they are like bridge. They will not let you fall down. They will kind of keep you stronger, right? And Upapajya is the karma that is going to if be effective in the next birth, in the second birth. And finally, number three, Aparaparya karma are the set of karmas that are going to be effective after the second birth until Nibbana, right? So you have a specific lesson about karma even in grade 10 and 11. So please have a look at both lessons about karma. Number 26, the fact that helps overcome all the sufferings with wisdom, determination, and effort uh, without assigning them entirely to karma, right? Not everything happens because of karma. There are instances where karma um, does not affect a lot, right? Sometimes our untiring effort, wisdom, right, can help us to overcome all the challenges, right? Effort especially. So what is that? So it's simply prayoga. Prayoga කියන්නේ උත්සාහය, right? Upadi is a different point, right? Kala sampatti is a different one. Gati sampatti, right? It's called the prayoga sampatti, right? We will talk about it later. I will do a specific lesson about karma in a different video later. Number 27, the right view, Samma Drishtiya, Nivaradidakma, is described in five ways in the commentaries, and the vision of realizing the Four Noble Truths, which is revealed in the mental states of the paths like Sotapatti, is called what? Is called paths, path, which means Marga Sammaditthi, right? When you attain this Marga Sammaditthi, you can have the realization of the Four Noble Truths, right? And this is bit harder one, I would say, right? This is bit hard and difficult to answer sometimes. And number 28, the meaning of the word avicchappasadaya, right? Unwavering conviction, saddha described in Dhamma is. So avicchappasadaya means you have a solid way of saddha because you have fully realized that person. You have fully realized the Buddha and his qualities, Dharma and their qualities, Sangha and its qualities. So then you have an unwavering saddha that is not moved by anything. Avicchapasade, right? So it simply means the saddha that comes from seeing the masculine features of the great man, the Buddha. That's kind of not the correct one, I would say. The saddha that is gained by recognizing the qualities of the triple gem. Yeah, close enough. The saddha that occurs instantly after listening to Dharma, the occasional saddha. No. So the correct answer is what? Number two, the saddha that is gained by recognizing the qualities of the triple gems. 29, as shown in the reverse order, dependent origination, right? Anuloma patiloma. There are two ways of dependent origination. Avijja pachya sankhara, sankhara pachya vijnana. And at the same time, um, uh, bhava nirodho, nirodha jati nirodho. So there's a reverse, right? Backward and forward. So this is also a bit difficult question, right? But not so difficult. Let's have a look. So in that reverse order of the Paticca Samuppada, Anuloma, not Anuloma, Patiloma, the reverse order, which explains how the sufferings of the existence are removed. Yeah. So Anuloma says how suffering is arised, how suffering arises. Patiloma says how suffering is removed, how existence is removed. So there is no rebecoming due to non-attachment to the existence is expressed as, right? Due to non-attachment කියන්නේ upadane නැති නිසා there is no rebecoming, there is no bhava, right? Upadhane nirodhen bhava nirodhe වෙනවා. So there is no attachment, then there is no rebirth, right? So the correct one is Vedana nirodho is not the correct answer. Vedana means feeling, right? Tanha nirodha upadana. Tanha means kind of uh, desire, attachment, right? And here becoming is bhava simply. And here bhava nirodha, jati nirodha is not the correct one. So the correct answer is upadana nirodha bhava nirodho. So the meaning is due to non-attachment, then there is no re-becoming, right? So this is a bit tricky one, but I'm sorry, I'm not the one who made this paper, right? So you have to be very careful when you answer this type of questions. Number 30, the fact that does not belong to the category of results gained by practicing loving kindness. So there are basically 11 benefits of practicing loving kindness, 11 results. I guess 10 or 11, yeah. And here, let's say one is given which is not a result of practicing loving kindness. Let's have a look. Um, uh, being loved by non-humans, and then of no, it's a result of practicing meditation, right? Uh, being loved, manusanang piyo hoti, and receiving divine protection. Uh, of course, if you practice loving kindness, you will receive the divine protection, devata rakhanti. Number 4, birth in Brahma verse after death. Uttareng appati Brahmaloka bhagavati. Yes, it's a result of loving kindness, practicing the meditation of loving kindness. Then finally, the correct answer is serene death, peaceful death, right? So this is the most appropriate one. But of course, if you practice loving kindness for long, you can have a serene death, peaceful death. But literally, this has not been given as a direct result of Maitri Bhavana. The other three are given clearly. Number 31, the sutta which shows the duties of a society that fights only for its rights without fulfilling its duties and responsibilities. Right? So there's a sutta which talks about the fulfilling duties and responsibilities is simply Singalova, the sutta. Number 32, the Buddhist teaching that includes the facts that help living in coexistence in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society is what? The Buddhist teaching that includes the facts that help living in coexistence, uh, samagian, right? In a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society is, let's say, the four Satra Sangra Vastu, mm, uh, the four evil causes, Sataragati, no, Sataridipada, oh no, Satarasatipatthana, no, not at all. So simply the correct answer is the four ways of treating others. If you treat others in an equal manner. So what are the four Sangraha Vastu? What are the four ways of treating others? Danaya, Priyavachanaya, Arthacharyava, Samanatmatave. Being generous, being helpful, and using lovely and proper nice words. Arthacharyava, uh, altruism, right? You dedicate yourself for others. Samanatmatavaya, equality. You treat each and everyone in an equal manner. That's called Satara Sangraha Vastu. Number 33, ruling the kingdom in accordance with the existing law of country without being excluded. Punishing the guilty and without violent actions is known in the 10 royal virtues as non-violence, right? It's a duty of a king to govern the country without using any harmful kind of punishment, right? Tapasya means he should be so patient, and gentleness, madhava, mrudubhava, non-hatred, akrodha, he should not hate the others, right? So finally, non-violence is the way, right? Number 34, in the first Buddhist council, the Bhanaka generations, you know that. In the first Buddhist council, there had been a systematic categorization of the teaching of the Buddha as Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Khuddaka Nikaya, and Anguttara Nikaya. So here, uh, according to this oral tradition, the Samyutta Nikaya was given to whom? The Samyutta Nikaya was given to Elder Anuruddha Thero and his disciples. Remember that. Ananda Thero was the responsible guy for Digha Nikaya. Majjhima Nikaya was given to Sariputta, and Khuddaka Nikaya was given to Mahakassapa, and Samyutta Nikaya was handed over to Anuruddha Thero and his disciples, and mm, and so on, right? Khuddaka was Mahakassapa, and Anguttara Nikaya was handed over to the rest of the monks. Number 35, the fact that does not belong to the results of the Second Buddhist Council. Wow, right? So there is one here out of four alternatives. There is one which is not, sorry, which is not a result of the Second Buddhist Council. Let's have a look. 10 rejection of the 10 points, Dasavastu. The rejection, yeah, they rejected the Dasavastuga. Mithya then, sorry, not Mithya Drushti. Dasa Akapavastu was negated. And emergence of 18 sects. Uh, yes, it happened. Condemnation of monks who violated Vinaya, of course. Monks who violated Vinaya, they were condemned by the leading monks. Finally, the answer is expulsion of immoral monks. At the Second Buddhist Council, this was not taking place. So this expulsion or deporting or banishment of Buddhist monks as immoral took place only in the Third Buddhist Council, right, during the Ashoka's uh, time. Number 36, the text compiled by the elder Moggaliputta Tissatera in order to refute 500 hearsays or heresies, yeah, Paravada, right, hearsays, and by including 500 Theravada doctrine, Sakavada. What is that specific text? Is called Kathavattupakarana, is the one which was composed by Moggaliputta Tissa, and he added to the Abhidharma. Then Abhidharma is coming as a complete Pitaka in the Third Buddhist Council, consisting of several treatises. Dhammasangina Vibhanga Dhadukata Puggala Panyati Yamaka Patthana, 7 treatises. Uh, 37, number 37, the depiction of Buddha images on a coin and a relic casket found in the Gandhara, of course, region shows that the sculpture of Buddha statues originated on the influence of Greek Roman art. Thus, the Buddha statue was originated during what? It's a famous kind of fact that the very first statue of the Buddha was originated during the reign of Kanishka, right? This is the period, right? Because in Kanishka's period, Kanishka's time, there had been influence from Greek and Roman art, right? Remember that. And it is the very first recorded historical record, I mean, where uh, the Buddha statue was found, sculptured at the time. Number 38, the names Gandhakuti, Prasada, Gedige, Tampita Vihara are used to identify what? Pratima Ghar. Pratima Ghar is a specific kind of place where the Buddha statues are situated, right? Gandhakiliya, Prasada, all refers to Pratima Ghara, connected with Pratima Ghara. Bodhigara is especially a surrounding kind of shelter made for the protection of the Bodhi. And Chaityaghara is a specific shelter made surrounding the pagoda Chaitya in order to provide protection for the pilgrims, right? And Padhana Ghara, I don't know what is Padhana Ghara. Number 39, the correct option showing the structure of Mahiyangana Stupa, Kalaniya Stupa, and Abhigiri Stupa, respectively. Yeah, this is important. You must know the shapes of pagoda and the structure of a pagoda and the components of it, right? So here, as I believe, as I have understood, Mahiyangana pagoda is kind of Ghantakar, Kalani Stupa is kind of Dhanyakar, and Abhayagiri Stupa is like Ghata, like a pot. So this is the correct answer. These kind of answers are really tricky. Questions are really tricky. You can easily, get confused. You can easily get nervous because there are same terminologies and we completely lose our mind. Sorry. Number 40, the place where paintings belonging to the Polonnaru period depicting the Buddha's arrival from heaven to Sankasapura and Jataka stories such as Sasa, Vesantara, Sama, and so on. So these are depicted in somewhere during the Polonnaru period. So basically, Tivanka Pilimagaya, which is in Polonnaru, it depicts all these depictions. Dambulu Vihara is a different kind of unique way of art is found there. Hindagala is in Kandy. It's a Kandy period. Dimbulagala cave temple is in Polonnaruwa. But I I suppose, Tivanga Pilimage is the correct answer, right? So that is all for Buddhism Part 1. And of course, we have Buddhism Part 2, but I am afraid this is not the proper time for that, right? It's already 2 a.m. here in London, but I will do a separate video for that, right? So here I have made my some attempts to give you a basic idea about the Buddhism Part 1 from the G.C.E O-level exam 2024, and it's in English medium. So I will upload this and then soon after I upload this, I will do another small video on the Buddhism Part 2. And okay, then thank you, and I wish you um, a good luck on your exam, right? And if you need anything more, just comment. And sometimes I'm sorry for that. I can't reply. Sorry for that, but I will reply for sure.